Hi guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Today I have another fan view. A Fiachra Taaffe with me today. He's going to choose his Dundalk 1 to 11. But before we get into that, Fiachra, how are you for a start?
I'm very good, yes. Thanks.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You're smiling away, but at the moment there's nothing to smile about Dundalk at the moment, really, is there? I mean, like I've given my opinions on that, but I'd love to hear a fan opinion from it. What's your opinion? What's gone wrong?
I don't know. I heard a lot of stuff around town that Vinny Depart lost the dressing room, that he fell out with a couple of the players over selection and things like that. So I don't know how true it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if it is true, it's very sad. It's a hard thing. Like you can't lose the dressing room. You just can't. But and he didn't make much selection changes from Stephen Kenny either. You know, like he brought in a couple of new players from midfield, but it was still the same 11 every week, really, wasn't it? I think that's kind of teams started knowing how to play against us and holding it off. And yeah, like, I don't know. It's hard to know, but just.
I think the problem is, Fiachra, I think there was always going to be a bit of a downturn after Stephen, and it probably didn't happen instantly like it does a lot of clubs, doesn't it? And I think that might have been an issue as well. As you say, I don't know what went wrong. There did appear to be issues in the dressing room. Owners and Vinny not seeing, eye to eye and that kind of thing. I think in the end, Vinny was happy enough to go himself, but it sounds of things as well, wasn't he?
I think he was, yeah. I think he had enough. I think it was a headache for him backstage and stuff. So you can understand why you'd want to go. Like if was he a couple of penalty kicks away from winning the treble?
See, that's it too, yeah.
And then a couple of months later, he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's very hard to understand. Like, and I wonder if there was no lockdown, would he have got the team together? Would it have been playing every week? And would he still be in charge? Would we be top of the league? You just don't know.
That's a fair point, actually, Fiachra, because before lockdown, there didn't seem to be an issue, and results are fine. Like your second Rovers lost 3-2, which can happen in a game against Shamrock Rovers. Very tight. And other results were fine, weren't they? It just seems to be since we've come back from lockdown that everything just spiraled out of control.
We've only won the cup. We haven't won the league yet. Like
that's right, yeah.
And that's not good enough for Dundalk. Like at the moment, like supposedly one of the biggest teams in the country at the moment can't win a game in the league.
It's insane. It will be interesting to see if Filippo can make an immediate impact because, look, let's be honest, we don't know what kind of impact he's going to make. People laugh and joke about it, but we really don't, do we? It could be a case of if 4 or 5 players did fall out with Vinny. I'm not saying you go on the pitch not to try, but subconsciously, if there's 5% of an effort not there, it affects the whole team, doesn't it? And I think you could see on the pitch with Dundalk before that you could just see things weren't right. It didn't seem to be clicking. There seemed to be a bit of narking, if you like, on the pitch and people looking at each other and not in a leadership way, but kind of in a heads down kind of a way. You could tell, couldn't you, that there was something not right. Like, they obviously have the players. You don't become bad players overnight, like.
No, that's the thing. Like the players are still very good. Like the quality, like individually and all that, they're still very good. They weren't playing together. I don't know. Like normally you see the boys and all linking up, and you can see them around town as well, walking around together in groups and stuff. But not anymore. Like you haven't seen it in a wee while. Yeah. So I don't know if they've all fallen out together or if it's just I don't know. I'm just missing them now or something. But
yeah, that could be fear as well that they might get a bit of abuse as well. That kind of way. You don't know. Yeah, it could be a reason for that too. But by all accounts, training's gone well, etc. I know you're not going to say training's going bad and all that, but look, no matter what, it's going to be a fresh start. I was actually interested to see how they get on this weekend in the first league match, but unfortunately, the game at Derry was cancelled, so they have to wait another week. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. It might clear the air a bit more. Who knows? Like,
I know they're doing 2 training sessions. They're training twice a day now some days, so I'm hoping that goes well for them and doesn't burn them out. But I suppose you can kind of write this season off, I suppose, now at this stage. I don't think we'll win it.
It's important, though, to get into Europe, isn't it? I think that's the main thing.
That's the main goal. I'd like to see a cup run as well, obviously. But once we get Europe again, I'll be happy enough with just Europe at this point.
Yeah, I think if they get their act together even a little bit, they should have more than enough for Europe. Actually, Derry would have been a big match, in fairness, because Derry are probably one of the teams that could sneak into the European spots, aren't they themselves? And maybe Sligo, if you look at the better sides outside of
Waterford are doing pretty decent as well.
Yeah, they're
Like,
doing
they're
pretty
11 points
decent.
at the moment, though.
They are. I'd still be surprised. For what I've seen, I think Sligo and Derry do look better, but you never know. I could be wrong. We've all been wrong before. I went for Dundalk in the title, so you know.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first ever Dundalk game, Fiachra?
I do, yeah. It was a while ago now. It was 03. It was the first game I was meant to go to was the cup final in 02 against Bows.
Right.
But my mum wouldn't let me go at the last minute. So I went to a pre-season friendly game against Monaghan the next year, and we lost 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, I still remember.
Who was the manager at that stage?
Yeah.
Head. Or can you remember at the top of your head?
I can't. I'm trying to remember now.
What would be your happiest memory, Fiachra, as a Dundalk fan? There's plenty of them in the last number of years, so it'd be interesting to see which match would you pick out, maybe, or which memory would you pick out as being your favourite?
See, I really enjoyed a lot of 16, obviously, Europa League and all that sort of stuff. I was over in Iceland, I was in Israel for the games. They were fantastic.
I'd say they were good crack, yeah.
I went over with the team and everything for Iceland, so we were in the pubs. We shut down an Irish bar over there, and the locals were coming out to watch us. That was great. But actually, my favourite game, if I remember, is from 2012. Actually, would you believe it? We just lost 6-0.
Went on the run, yeah.
Well, 2012 when we lost everything, like when.
Before you went on the run of winning.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. We'd lost 6-0 to Rovers, and I remember then we were going up to Derry, away to Derry, and we had a minibus with 8 people on it. Went up, and we were the only Dundalk fans up there. We won 2-1, and it was just absolutely bananas. You know what I mean? Like the Derry fans were celebrating for us as well. They were around us because they just thought it was funny, kind of, I suppose. Yeah. And we thought we were having the best time, shouting at them, singing at the Derry fans, giving them abuse. So, all friendly crack, obviously, but I just think that was one of the best times I've had as a Dundalk fan. It was just so stupid, I suppose. Like, we shouldn't have won that game. I think Chris Shields got sent off as well at one point. I don't know if we were 2-1 up or 1-1 at that stage, but we were down to 10 men, and after losing 6-0, we shouldn't have won the game, but we somehow did, and that's one of the reasons I love football, I suppose, as well. The mad stuff happens, doesn't it?
You probably couldn't foresee what was going to happen in the next number of years, could you?
I remember I was sitting there like 25, kind of going like, oh, like this is it, like back to League One with us. They're going down again. We're not coming back for a while, but thankfully Monaghan done us a favour and went out of business.
No, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because if someone told you at that point that you're going to win 6 titles, league titles, in the next 6-7 years or whatever it was, you probably would have laughed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially because our lowest finish since then has been second.
Yeah. And that doesn't count the cups and the European runs and everything else that goes with it, you know.
I don't think any team, if you told even Rovers fans, Bows fans, anyone would have believed you if they said their team was going to go on a run like that. It's just been phenomenal. Like, we can't.
It's certainly the best run that I've seen for any team in terms of winning league titles like that in my lifetime. Anyway, I've seen Shelbourne being successful, but they never won like 5 and 6 years or whatever it may be. And other teams have been successful, but it's definitely the best run that I've seen. Favorite player of all time?
Favorite player? Probably give it to Stephen O'Donnell.
Really?
Probably. Yeah. I just really love good leadership on the pitch. I love that type of stuff and no nonsense football. Not a big fan of tricks and flicks. Not my thing. So just O'Donnell just getting the ball down, playing football, organising things, making everyone else shine around him. You know, like
bit of a right team, kind of a.
He was, yeah. Like I think he let Powell and Horgan and all these boys do their thing. He let that because you were securing the knowledge, like he was there, he was going to back you up, he'd fight for you, you know, that type of thing. Like, you remember got sent off against Pats for throwing a bit of grass at one of the players. The big turf and mud came up and he just went up and threw it at him because I don't know why, but it was just like absolute madness. But that's what you needed, though. He was there for you.
Red's a little bit harsh, surely, for that, is it? I suppose it counts as a foreign object, does it?
I don't know if it does or not, but it was.
I don't know if there's something in the rule book for throwing grass at people, like, you know.
Well, no, it was a clump light. It was muck and everything in it.
That's true. Yeah, it's not just grass. A big lump of probably stones in it and everything. But I actually forgot to ask you. We'll go back to that. What would be your worst memory as a Dundalk fan?
Oh,
6-0 defeat the Rovers.
I think we lost 7-0 as well at one point. Oh no, it's probably one of the cup finals we lost. Absolutely got maybe even last year's one because I was in with a bunch of Rovers fans. My uncle got me tickets. Yeah, he got tickets from work and he works in Dublin. So we were in.
Did you have to stay quiet as such? Was that something?
Sorry?
Did you have to stay quiet as such?
Oh no, I wasn't. No, I
Oh,
was.
no.
I was given the plenty. I was enjoying myself. Remember, we were announcing the teams, and I was when they shouted Burke and Byrne, I was like, "Oh, overrated," and useless and things like this, and getting awful dirty looks. My dad was telling me to sit down. I was like, "Oh no, I'm having fun." So, have to enjoy yourself.
Oh, you definitely do. You definitely do. Yeah, that was probably a disappointing one because obviously penalties is disappointing to lose anything in penalties. And
Terrible penalty kicks as well. Really, really bad. Like the boys couldn't. I could have done better myself, honest, than some of them. But I have to give it the Rovers to the better team in the day, I suppose.
They were, but I thought I was there, and I thought when you scored the late goal that would have been a psychological edge going into the penalty shootout. But Rovers,
that's what I'm
as you're
thinking.
right, I did think Rovers were going to win it because they did play better in the day. They scored a late penalty, and then Duffy, as usual, comes up out of nowhere with an equaliser. And you think the tide is turning here now. Like, and even Manus in extra time, if I recall, did make a good save. I'm not sure
haven't
who it
watched the game
was.
back now.
Yeah. No, I can't remember who took the shot, but he definitely made a good save. And obviously, penalties is a lottery, but it was a great occasion. We'll get into your 1 to 11. I'm guessing you're going to go with Kenny as your manager.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't really hard. It wasn't going to pick Sean McCaffrey. Like, but yeah, no, it has to be. It has to be Kenny. He's probably one of the best ones in the league that the league has seen in don't know how many years. Like, so
He's
if ever.
So
Yeah. Even like what he done beforehand, I think he's done pretty well in Longford and Derry. Not too great at Rovers, obviously, or in Scotland, but
I was always curious at how it didn't go well for him at Rovers because Rovers have decent resources as well. So it's always interesting. You wonder why sometimes even top managers it just doesn't work for them at clubs. It's a strange one. It's always hard to put your finger on because, as you say,
it might just come down to philosophy, what he has and what the team wants. Really, it's two different things. Just don't click, and
it's hard to know what was going on behind the scenes at that time there as well. But he's certainly obviously done a great job at Dundalk, and he brought them from a weak position as well. So he didn't take over a club that was at the top. He laid a foundation there too.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere that if we had won the league in 13, we would have been the first league team in Europe to go from bottom of the league straight to the top in one season. I think I don't know, I could be wrong now, but I think I heard something like that. Would have been one of the few anyway to do it.
It could well be true, to be fair, couldn't it? Number one, what formation are you going for actually?
I was doing a 4 at the back, 2 holding midfielders and 3 attacking midfielders and 1 up front.
I could nearly guess the 2 holding midfielders.
See, that's the thing.
But I do this all the time with other ones as well, and it's interesting. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. So goalkeeper anyway.
That's got to be Gary Rogers.
Yeah,
it has to be. I've only seen I think 3 full-time keepers since I started watching: Chris Benyon, Peter Cherry, and Rogers. So yeah, I prefer Cherry as like a fan favorite type thing, but Gary Rogers is probably the better of the 2 keepers. I'd have to pick him, especially like he's made record appearances or something. Like he's up there high, isn't he? So you don't get that at the top level, especially playing with teams like he has, where he's always been at the top of the league. Really, if you're not,
even won a league championship with Sligo, so you know what I mean.
He's not an average keeper. He is a very good keeper. He's getting on in years now, but
he's probably losing that bit of agility now. I think it appears to be, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he still reads the game very well, though. I feel you can see like he's not as fast, obviously, as he used to be, or as some of the other keepers in the league. But he gets into positions where he needs to be, and he's solid. He is solid in defence. So I'd like to see maybe a new younger keeper coming in, but I'm very happy with as he is. Yeah.
Right back.
It has to be Sean Gannon. Is there anyone else you pick up than Sean Gannon? Like I think he's been in the team of the year every year.
Pretty much, yeah.
He joined
pretty much. Yeah, I think he might be. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else that has been. Put it that way. Yeah.
Obviously, not having a great season this year, really, but none of the boys really are. But other than that, he's fantastic. Right back, he gets up the wing, he comes back, he defends, he cuts in and out. He does it all. Really, you don't need anything other than what he can give you, do you? don't think that's the biggest surprise.
Dundalk did very well, actually, Fiachra, to hang on to him, that he didn't take the jump to move to England at one point, or Scotland. Because I feel he could have, couldn't he? He definitely had the ability
He
to
had
play.
offers. He did have offers, I heard. And apparently, though, he wanted Europe. He was happy to say Dundalk win leagues and play in Europe. He didn't want to go abroad, so why
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see more of that in the league, but obviously, with the resources we have, you're not going to see that too often, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You'd love to keep your Jack Burns and your whoever, Danny Grant's in the league for 10 years, or whoever, like these young guys coming through or whatever, but it's not going to happen. But Gannon, he's an easy choice at right back, isn't he? I think if I was to pick my all-time, well, it'd probably be between him and Owen Heary. Like, Owen Heary, Shelburne, he was a very good right back. He played kind of before, more 90s, kind of early 2000s. Exactly, but put it that way, Gannon and them two are neck and neck, like, and that's, I'm talking about over 30 years of watching, so you know what I mean. Left back,
be Dane Massey again. So it's it's not very hard to pick, I think, but it's got to be Dane Massey. He's losing his place now, I think, though, to Leahy.
It's tough to go.
It is. It's hard to pick between the two. For years now, it was him all the time. It's just Massey, but that's got to be him. He's especially in the early Kenny years, he was very, very dangerous going up that wing, and his free kicks were just fantastic. So has to be him, I suppose.
Between him and Leahy at the moment, Leahy probably has the legs on him, so it kind of depends what kind of game you're looking for, isn't it? Defensively, Massey is a bit better than Leahy from what I've seen generally, but it really depends on what opposition you're playing as well, who you go with there. I think it's nice to have those options.
Yeah, I suppose Leahy played in both the Champions League games, didn't he? Massey didn't even appear, so
that's true. That's interesting. That's true. Yeah,
I
definitely.
I didn't think that. I thought Massey would have played. I thought he would have wanted the veteran on the pitch more so than.
It's funny enough. Leahy, I thought, was decent going forward against what they call Selje, but he was a bit iffy at but was an interesting one. But then again, there was a few things wrong in that game, I suppose, as well. Like there has been in the league games, But centre backs.
Centre backs is Andy Boyle and Brian Garland. But I was very close to putting Cleary in. I really like Cleary, but I just thought the two boys in 16 just fantastic, and I don't know why Garland just edged like Cleary for me there, but that was probably the closest one yet.
Garland's kind of no nonsense, though, isn't he? Again, he's probably getting on a little bit now, but he's probably had a better overall Dundalk career than Cleary.
That's more what I was going for there than less experience. He kept Cleary out for a wee while as well, and Sean Hoare as well. Like, don't get me wrong, Sean Hoare is fantastic as well. But when Sean Hoare actually first came, I always felt like he just was confused by everything, but he was fantastic. But he just felt to me like he didn't know what he was doing, but he was always getting the ball. I
remember when he was at St. Pat's and he moved to Dundalk, and he wasn't fantastic at Pat's, I have to say. He had potential, but he was never one that you thought, he's going to be a top centre half in the league for years to come. But he developed at Dundalk, clearly. He's quite young as well, obviously.
Yeah, he'd probably be, if I was to pick a team now with the current Dundalk squad, it probably would be Cleary and Hoare starting, but but it has to be Boyle and Garland in the back to start for an all 11 for me.
So two central midfielders, this could be interesting, I think.
This is actually, this is where it starts getting harder for me now, because I really wanted to put Robbie Benson in.
Yeah.
Really, really did, and it killed me not to, but I put Stephen O'Donnell in instead of Benson, and I put Chris Shields in there as well.
The two I thought you'd go with.
I think you need O'Donnell, as I say, he's my favourite player of all time, like in the League of Ireland, so, and I think he's been Dundalk's greatest captain I've seen.
Well, funnily enough, he's only 34 now. It's hard to believe. He technically could be still playing. Obviously he had injuries and that. But,
last few years now he was riddled with them, but
if he didn't, I'm sure he would be playing still, because you keep forgetting he's still actually only 34.
Which is nothing. Like, really, when you think about it. So,
like, what age is Garland? Garland must be nearly on that, is he? Or is he?
He's around that as well, yeah.
Would be, wouldn't he? Can't think of the top of his exact age, but he would be in around that. And he's still playing, obviously. So, but O'Donnell and Shields, that'd be a very tough combination. Both peak to get through, wouldn't it? Very difficult to get through.
Especially, I think O'Donnell can go forward a bit more than Shields.
Yeah, he could score a goal or two.
Yeah, it'd be very good. And then I think I remember Shields linked up very well with Gartland and Boyle in the back there, kind of a week trying to get one of them two and Fort he'd come back, and I like that. Whereas but I do feel like we would be missing a lot of Robbie Benson. I think he's probably
good complaint though to be able to leave Benson out at his best.
Yeah,
I have to say though, I'm yet to see him really perform for Pats, which is interesting. I'm not sure why that is, but was he good
some games
at the last season for Dundalk, or
he scored late? Yeah, I think he scored in Linfield.
He did. Nice little chip, wasn't it? Actually, the keeper came out and he chipped it in. But yeah, he struggled a bit. But then again, that could be a situation at Pats because all their players are struggling. You know what I mean? So it could be a systematic thing or anything. Who knows? But Benson, yeah, you're right. Though, fantastic player, can score a goal as well. Can do nearly every job in midfield. But as you say, to leave O'Donnell or Shields out, isn't it?
I couldn't do it. I was sitting there for ages and we pen and paper, and I just don't know what to do here.
So who have you got it wide?
Out in the left, I went for Duffy.
Duffy, yeah.
Michael Duffy, yeah. I would have put Horgan there, but actually Horgan's on my right.
Horgan's on your right, yeah. Okay, so
because if I was manager, I'd be telling two boys to be mixing it up, swap sides all the time. Don't stay in the one spot. That'd be my job for the two fellas. Keep swapping over and back. But yeah, because I just don't think the Dundalk have had a terrific right midfield, right winger, to have left.
We've always some Patrick McAlelly is a good player, but I don't consider him a right winger as such. He's kind of a drifter, like a number 10 more to the point.
Yeah, and same with McGrath. I don't think he played there naturally either. He was more centre. So it kind of just seemed we were pushing fellas out there for the sake of pushing people out there. But I think Darrell Horgan could do a good job out there. I think he was good enough to do. He could do it very well in the left anyway. He can cut into the left, and I think if you have them two going forward and your Shields O'Donnell holding up your midfield, people are going to struggle to deal with that, I think. Especially
Duffy, in fairness, he's a real big game player, isn't he, as well? He could do nothing sometimes he could do nothing for 80 minutes, or you think you have him, and all of a sudden he's scoring a last minute banger that wins the game or something. You're like, where did he come from? He wasn't on the pitch the last 80 minutes. Yeah. That cup final was an example, by the way.
Yeah. And sometimes he's there for 90 minutes just playing, plugging away at you, and you just can't stop him the whole game. So yeah, I think the two of them have to make the team, don't they?
Yeah. Obviously Horgan is I can remember Horgan when he was there. It's a good low centre gravity, just good crosser the ball actually as well.
Yeah, and I remember he scored a goal in Oriel against Cork. I think we won 2-0. Cork at a corner, he just took it up the field himself, ran past everyone. You're like, this state Cork probably one of the best teams in the league as well, and just blitzed them all. Fantastic.
Didn't he play for Cork initially? I think
he did. Yeah, we bought him off Cork actually.
That's right. Yeah, which is interesting because the success he went on to have and obviously the success he had over in Scotland as well actually shows.
Yeah, he done well enough over there actually.
He did do well enough. Yeah, he was getting in. He was playing first team football, and obviously he played for Preston before that, I think, and got a couple of Ireland caps and that. So that proves that he was a pretty good player. What's that?
He's back in the championship now, I think.
Yes, he's back with Wickham. What division are they in? Probably League 1 or League 2, is it? But Wickham Wanderers, isn't it?
I thought they got promoted this year. I don't know.
No, you could be right. You could be right, but he's with Wickham anyway. But it'd be interesting if they were in the championship actually. Wickham, small enough club, but you could be right there actually. But he's definitely with Wickham. Obviously a bit older now, but still having a good career. Would love to have seen him back in Ireland, to be honest with you.
I would have, yeah. Only back in the white though.
Yeah, that's it too. Up front, are we going with two? Is
it? One just behind, I suppose.
Going with
Richie Powell. And it has to kind of
fit in. I was wondering where he's going to fit in somewhere. I said he had to,
Yeah, but he's, to be honest, though, he was one of these players who wrecked my head something serious when he was at Oriel Park.
Really?
Because there was games he'd just run the game, absolutely no one could touch him. And then the next game he did nothing but pop up and score a goal. And then I'd be like, but he's done nothing else. Just do something. When you'd see him walking around the pitch. But no, when he was on it, he was probably the best player in the league. When he was there, he was just fantastic footballer, wasn't he?
brilliant goal scorer midfielder. Like, you talk about Lampard, Gerrard, them type of players in the League of Ireland. Went off to England and surprisingly struggled for me, but he started to pick up a few injuries. When you pick up a few injuries, you go off to England, you're in trouble. But he's kind of doing okay now at Salford, isn't he? So
yeah, I think they seem to like him over there anyway, don't they?
Yeah.
The fans seem to pick up on him and stuff. So, but interesting, and it's interesting as well. When he came back to Dundalk, he was going to sign on the dole. He wasn't going to play football, like so.
Isn't it? That was a big turn. I think you have to give Kenny a lot of credit for that as well. That's one of the things that Kenny stands out for as well. Like players that you mightn't really have heard of, and suddenly he brings them into Dundalk and they're electric. Like, you know what I mean? That's something Kenny did a lot.
Chris Shields came from that 2012 team. Very, very bad team, and probably one of our better players now.
Yeah, he took a while, didn't he? After a few, he really blossomed. Yeah, but if Kenny wasn't there, if it was someone else, would he have blossomed? Because I do think Kenny's the type of player that's improving, that does improve players, like,
He
so.
does. Yeah. But I don't think Shieldsy would have made it because he was playing centre back, and now he's holding. He moved up to the midfield, and
he's been one of the success stories in that way for Dundalk. Almost epitomised Kenny in such a way, Chris Shields,
Yeah, and same. There's a few others as well, like, but I think Shields is probably the best example of that, like. But
so your striker.
I actually struggled a wee bit with the striker. Right, to be honest, there was a moment I was thinking Jason Byrne. He did play a season for us. He wasn't at his best for us now, but he's probably prolific, isn't he? Well, he was.
Yeah.
But it was a toss-up between Hoban and McMillan, but it went Hoban at the end. I just think is holding up the ball. He's a great goal scorer. He can hold the ball up for others, but I very nearly actually I wanted to put Kilduff in as well, just for what he done in Europe.
Yeah.
For them goals against Maccabi Tel Aviv and oh god, it's gone blank now. The other boys. AC Alkmaar, that's the one, isn't it?
It was Alkmaar, wasn't it? It was Alkmaar. You're right, yeah.
I would kill myself there.
Well, it's easy to forget these things. But the funny thing is, Hoban is, do you call him Hoban or Hoban, by the way?
It changes a lot. I don't know.
I used to call him Hoban, but I think he prefers to be called Hoban. That's why people call him Hoban. Apparently, I don't know. But anyway, irrespective of that, he's got 7 goals this season, and it's been a dodgy season for Dundalk. So that kind of shows in itself the quality of the man. I think it was 30-something goals the other season, a couple of seasons ago. Record goal scorer. Dundalk.
Anyway.
Yeah, record goals. Dundalk. Leadership, brings others into the games, you say. Often drops deep, and then your 2 wingers, whoever they are, be it Duffy, maybe McElhenney sometimes, or Daniel Kelly maybe, would run into those pockets, so an unselfish player as well at the same time. I don't think he can go wrong. I think he's the best striker in the league at this minute in time. Certainly the most prolific striker in the league. I don't think we can have any doubt about that.
I would have really liked to see him partner Georgie Kelly up front. I would like to see what the two of them could have done up front together, with him holding the ball up and Georgie Kelly being able to. He knows where the goal is, as he proved at UCD, and so I think that would have been a very good partnership. But I don't know if they got on well or not. I don't know what the story was.
It's a case of, I think, a lot of teams just don't play 2 up front these days. I did an interview actually with Hoban himself, and I got the sense that he likes playing up front on his own, that he feel like if he had another centre forward kind of being as well. When you have 2 forwards, sometimes they run into similar spaces, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, you have to know each other very well, don't they? Not to do things like that, but
I think you have to be completely different, and I think they're not the same, but they're not completely different either, if you get me. Like, Kelly's good in the air, Hoban's good in the air. They both like to hold the ball up, don't they? None of them are blessed with Syrian pace, let's say. You know what I mean? So it probably wouldn't work as well. I think Dundalk could use it occasionally if they were in trouble in a game and they're getting crosses into the box. And that
I think they did do it once or twice before the lockdown, and I thought it worked out quite well. But obviously, I'm not the manager.
I think from Kelly's point of view as well, he just wanted to play first team football regularly. He probably got to the stage where he needed to be, didn't it?
Yeah, I was actually shocked that he signed for Dundalk in the first place. I thought he would have went to Rovers or Bows or someone straight. I didn't I thought it was a strange move that he came to Dundalk. I was like, you're not going to move Patrick Hoodin out of that team easily. And the fact that he even came to give it a go, I thought was fantastic for him. Like, it was great.
Yeah. His record's pretty good at Dundalk as well, so you know what I mean.
He's not no slouch. Like, he can do it.
So that's the 1 to 11, Fiachra. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll talk to you again. Excellent stuff. All right.
Thanks very much for having me.
Much enjoyed that. Fair play to you.